What was supposed to be a night of warmth, joy, and celebration slowly turns into something painfully different. The Christmas lights are glowing, music is playing softly in the background, and people are raising glasses, smiling as if nothing in the world could possibly be wrong. And yet, right there in the middle of all that cheer, a deeply personal moment is forced into the open. The party doesn't pause. No one lowers the music. No one offers privacy. Instead, her pain becomes part of the entertainment, a silent spectacle unfolding between clinking glasses and polite laughter. She sits there, holding papers that represent the end of a promise she once believed in, feeling smaller with every second that passes. The contrast is cruel: celebration on the outside, devastation on the inside. Every decoration around her feels like a reminder of what she has lost, and every smiling face feels painfully unaware, or worse, indifferent. This moment shows how easily joy can become humiliation when empathy is missing, how quickly a festive room can turn cold when compassion leaves the conversation. And in that single, exposed moment, she learns a hard truth: sometimes the most painful heartbreak happens when the world insists on celebrating anyway. As the papers are placed in front of her, no dramatic outburst follows, no raised voice or desperate plea. What you see instead is something far quieter, yet far stronger. Her hands tremble, but they do not pull away. Her eyes fill with tears, but she does not beg for sympathy. In that moment, her silence speaks louder than any argument ever could. Those tears carry years of effort, compromise, and love given without conditions. They reflect late nights of trying to make things work, moments when she chose peace over pride, and loyalty over ego. While others in the room may mistake her composure for weakness, they fail to understand the courage it takes to remain calm when your heart is breaking in public. Strength doesn't always announce itself with confidence or control. Sometimes it shows up as the ability to endure without becoming bitter. Even as she signs her name, she holds on to her dignity, refusing to let pain turn her into someone she is not. That quiet resolve, hidden behind trembling breath and blurred vision, becomes her true power. Because long after the tears dry, it will be that inner strength that carries her forward. As she sits there, the room fills with more than just music and chatter, it fills with judgment. Side glances are exchanged, hushed comments slip between smiles, and conclusions are drawn long before anyone knows the truth. To them, her tears confirm a story they are too comfortable to believe: that she is weak, replaceable, someone whose worth ended the moment the marriage did. No one asks what she sacrificed to get here, or what it cost her to stay as long as she did. Instead, assumptions take the place of understanding. It's easier to label than to listen, easier to judge than to care. In moments like this, society reveals a harsh habit: valuing people based on what they appear to have, not who they are. They see a woman signing divorce papers at a party and assume failure, not resilience. They see vulnerability and mistake it for defeat. But what they don't realize is that ignorance is loud, while truth waits patiently. And when people choose judgment over empathy, they often end up underestimating the very person who will one day rise beyond their narrow view. What makes this moment even more painful is how familiar it feels in our society, the way people sometimes stand nearby, watching something wrong unfold, yet choosing silence over action. It's what we call the bystander effect, and it happens more often than we'd like to admit. In that moment outside the restaurant, there were people who saw the boy crying, people who noticed the bullies laughing and recording him, but no one stepped forward. Maybe they were unsure, maybe they felt it wasn't their place, or maybe they hoped someone else would intervene. But silence, even when unintentional, can feel like approval to those causing harm. And to the person being hurt, it can deepen the sense of isolation. This moment reminds us that doing nothing is also a choice, one that can allow cruelty to grow louder than compassion. Every moment of pain she endures that night feels random, unfair, and deeply personal, but in truth, nothing is wasted. Each whisper she overhears, each glance filled with pity or judgment, quietly shapes something stronger within her. She doesn't see it yet, but life is preparing her, refining her through discomfort and loss. Hardship has a way of stripping away illusions, revealing who we are when there is nothing left to prove and no one left to impress. In being rejected, she learns independence. In being underestimated, she gains clarity. And in walking away with her head held low but her spirit intact, she is unknowingly stepping into a future built on resilience rather than revenge. Fate doesn't always announce its plans. Sometimes it works silently, using moments of humiliation to teach patience, and moments of heartbreak to build wisdom. What feels like an ending is actually a quiet beginning, one where strength is earned, not inherited. Long before the truth of her identity comes to light, she has already been transformed by adversity. And when the time is right, everything she endured will finally make sense. The moment the bikers realized the danger Marcus had warned them about, the entire atmosphere changed. What had been casual laughter quickly hardened into focused urgency. They rushed to their motorcycles, examining the damage, and the truth hit them like a punch. Multiple brake lines had been sliced clean through. Someone hadn't just vandalized their bikes, someone had tried to kill them. Jennifer reached Marcus, pulling him into her arms, shaken by how close he had come to danger himself. But the bikers didn't see a child who interfered. They saw the kid who had just saved their lives. As the police were called and statements were taken, it became clear that the person responsible was connected to something far bigger and far more dangerous. And with Marcus being the only witness, he and Jennifer were suddenly at risk. The bikers stepped forward without hesitation, offering protection, a safe place, and the promise that they wouldn't face this threat alone.